So let me pop off a couple personal reserves here. Hello everyone, starting out with the Dicker Max today. Nice to see you guys. Hello Dana, Martian Jack, and Simon and Gary. Nice to see you guys already. Kind of already said in chat, I'm still a little bit sick. Their story of my life. Whenever I get sick, it always hangs around with me for quite some time. So hopefully you guys can bear with me. I'm starting to feel, a bit better, but it's still here. All right. Hopefully everything's working as far as my microphone and stuff. The other day, my whole microphone stand, microphone and everything kind of toppled over and tried to kill my dog. But it looks like it's working, so hopefully all is well. I really kind of want to go south, but I might end up regretting going south. Yeah, I still have the hat. Okay. We don't have that many people going south. This is going to be different. Just this thing doesn't really have much armor, so it'll be interesting fighting in the south with this. Hello, Christian. Nice to see you. If there's any requests today, I'll gladly take them. I'm, not really doing anything specific like premium tanks or anything. Just mainly the tanks I'm grinding. I'm almost done the WZ111 grind, and also the T54E1. I'm under, I think, 30k for both of them right now for experience left. Thank you. Thanks, Christian. I'm trying to get the last crew member that doesn't have Brothers in Arms done on this, which is why I started out with this. I keep forgetting to get my double done. Unfortunately, I don't have the Yag Tiger. The only German TDs I have right now are premiums. Hello, Jerry and Jack. What's it covering? Oh, I forgot. Sorry about that. That'll fix it. I forgot to... Oh, that's awesome for a first shot. Sorry about that, Jack. I was kind of fiddling around with it today. I forgot to make my, the mini-map a little bit smaller. And just trying to tweak around the stream stuff, but I'm still gonna have to fiddle with it a little bit. I'm just not able to alter it too precisely without live streaming. Okay, Skoda. Thanks for reminding me about that, because I kind of forgot to check that when I first popped on. I've been cleaning basically for most of the day today, getting ready for the holidays, having a ton of people over, so gotta figure out where 20 people are gonna fit into my house, or I should say 27 people. Okay, very nice. That first SPG missed me. I might get whacked here by him before I move again, though. That's the problem. I just can't... I'm in a very, vulnerable spot right now. Especially since he has a derp gun. But so far... Yep, I was about to say it's working, but I did see that Artie, was aiming at me. So it was only a matter of time. But, what can you do? The Digger Max... very good gun depression, but it is pretty one-dimensional. Yeah, I can pop into... Why don't I pop into the T62A? Let me try to fix this window here real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with it a little bit more than I would like, but let's go with that for now. I think that'll work out decently. Yeah, I'll play the T62A and I could do the 140 after that. That works out. I have both. But yeah, earlier, hello Scud. I have, I think 16 videos. I think 14 of them Ace Tankers. I gotta record and upload here to YouTube. Not live stream, of course, because they're replays. I got to do them soon. But with me still being sick, I didn't think talking for 4 hours or so what it would take me to do them would be great before live streaming. So I kind of held off on that. Don't know if everyone has seen, but it's confirmed that the overmatch changes coming in the next patch, they're postponed, not completely canceled. Wargaming, essentially, they won't admit. I personally think they're a step in the right direction. Are they perfect? No, but step in the right direction nonetheless. Essentially, they're postponing them because so many people complained about them. I guess it's good, but hopefully they come out, with a slightly tweaked version next patch, 2 patches from now. But they will not be coming. So combine that with they nerfed and buffed the Swedish TDs on the test server again. Basically, they nerfed the DPM and accuracy. Accuracy is still pretty good, but they drastically nerfed it for both the tier 9 and 10, and nerfed the DPM down to about the STB1 levels. So when you add in the buffs they gave to it, they increased the mobility in siege mode a bit. Still really low, only 10 kilometers an hour, and they also buffed the transition time in and out of siege mode. Now, when you combine that with the overmatch not being added in, it's going to be pretty... I still want the Swedish TDs because they're different, new, and challenging to play. But when you add in not having the overmatch changes, the Swedish TDs are, not to say they're going to be dead on arrival, but they are pretty much going to be auto-punned by everything and overmatched by almost every gun they face, except for the tier 10 if you hit that space armor and the shell travels far enough to lose all of its pen. But that is, it's still iffy. Christian, my email address, I'd rather not give my personal one out over the stream. I would gladly PM it to you in game. However, if you go on wotguru.com, in the contact section, there is an email address there that I do check for that website. But my personal email address, I won't say over, this. I've screwed up a little bit there. I should have angled better. Nah. Oopsie daisy. It's all you, M48. Yeah, I can play both the Patriot and the AMX. But yeah, essentially the Swedish TDs, they're still going to be good, but it is going to, I don't know, they're going to be extremely, they were pretty one-dimensional to begin with. Long range kind of support sniper tanks. But at least they could kind of deflect shells if you kept your angles correct. Now they're going to be, pretty much if you're not invisible, you're going to die. It's just going to be interesting because, I don't know, it just... Yeah, it seems like they're gonna need a corresponding buff uh, before they get unleashed because of the overmatch changes being removed. But we'll see. They're still testing them, of course, so I wouldn't be surprised if they rebuff up the gun stats. Maybe give them a little bit more HP, stuff like that. Alright, that sounds good, Christian. But yeah, if you just go on WoTguru.com, on the upper menu, it's kind of under the home section. Click on that, contact, has my email there. Ooh, Lord. Holy shit. I was not expecting him to push out like that. Oh. Glad I didn't shoot there. I didn't have the gun depression to actually hit him. Alright, he can't hit me coming along this way. I was going to go kill the Ferdinand just to free up everyone at our base, but they should be fine. Alright, that guy looks like he's about to pass through here. Maybe not. JPZ, however, he just fired, fortunately for me. Unfortunately for the M48. I was going to track him, but better for me to take the HP shot there. Yes and no. The gun depression, it's definitely noticeable between the 62A and 140. I don't think it's, you know, the biggest difference in the world. I personally like the T62A a lot better. Oh, that's my bad there. But it is noticeable enough to where there's quite a few hills that the 140 works better on. But I much rather would have the armor of the T62A on the turret. Overall, not a terrible match damage wise. Pretty low experience wise because I didn't spot a lot of my own damage. But hopping to the 140 here. Think I can move up. Yeah, I was trying my best for this new kind of the event list for recent subscribers and tips on the right to line it up before I streamed. But the game window I have here is different than me being able to set up images in OBS, if that makes any sense. Essentially, their screenshots are different sizes for me here. But I'll be able to fix this real quick now. As OBS cuts out the border, because World of Tanks doesn't have a borderless option. But yeah, 1 degrees, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is just enough to work on some. But like I said, I still like the T62A better in most scenarios. But yeah, I'll just open up platooning later. Like, I don't want to platoon the whole time. I'm still a bit sick, but my, you know, it's starting to go away. I will platoon, you know, for, you know, maybe half the stream, if that works for you guys. It's just I like, especially for longer streams like this, I like keeping it upbeat, but I'll gladly platoon, you know, for at least an hour or so. If not, you know, a bit longer, hour and a half. But yeah, I probably went through a half a box of tissues a day. Oh, I really hope I don't start sneezing, because I typically, you know, they come in like 4 or 5 bursts. I'm just there we go. He spotted me. He saved me from pushing up there and dying. Let's say I'm very tempted to go up there, but I know better. Yeah, typically when I get sick, even though this is, it's just a standard cold, um, it takes me a minimum of a week to get better. And I'm right about at that threshold. Alright, he looks like he's coming right through here. There we go. Hello, Uber. Nice to see you. But yeah, whenever you guys are ready, Christian, though, just send me a message in game. Alright. I can't see where their two big TDs are. They're most likely in front of me, which is the problem. Oops. Almost took a big shot there. I still don't know where their arty is as well. Which is a pretty big problem as well. I'd rather not get hit by an SPG in this. Now, if I was in a T-62A, I'd be a little bit more confident sitting out on this little hill. But the 140, they can overmatch bits of my roof and punch through a lot of the frontal bits too. He used the repair kit. Let's try and help this M103 out. Come on, shit. Take more damage than I would like to here. Oh lord, Bat Chat Mania. T-62A luckily bounced off of me, it looks like, with heat. Awesome. Kind of playing Ring Around the Rosie here with a Bat Chat. And a T-62A, and that worked out, fortunately. Luckily, I had quite a bit of support in the center. Same here, Jack. So let's say I should be able to spot that little bugger. Luckily, he bounced off me with that one. Come on, guys. 2 more hits. He's got to go up before he can go down here. Ah, that was my bad. I even saw that miss coming, and yet I still fudged it up. Surprised nobody else hit him. It's like it looked like we had an M46 and the IS-4 shooting at him, so... Even though we did really well in this flank, we're still down tanks. IS-4 still has good HP. I do not. I'm one-shottable, actually, by quite a few tanks on their team. So I definitely have to be wary here. Ah, there we go. Awesome. That helps out a bit. Now we got the JPZ here. Just gonna hopefully be able to hit him. 2 low shots, but fortunately they got him out there. Just gonna take a little peek here. I'll take a chance. I was about to say, he's at the edge of my view range, but the E100 should not be able to spot me from this far away. I loaded heat because really that's my only chance at this range. Unless I get a really good like side shot or something. Shit, now I'm spotted. It's not good. It's probably that M103. He has a bit better view range, so I'm just gonna pull on back here. But I'm surprised. There we go. I'm surprised the E100 has not been destroyed. You know, he should have been pretty easy. He had his armor pointed our way. I haven't played, if you're talking about like the line with the mediums, like with the rear turrets and stuff, I didn't play that line. I played, you know, the T-44, T-54, etc. Lines. Shit. Are you kidding me? Ooh, that hurt. Holy crap. I'm about to die here. Oh, never mind. I got a lucky bounce. Holy shit, if that M103 did not bounce both of my rounds at him. Alright, I'm gonna take a slightly different approach here. Maybe not. I was going to say I was going to cap to get the bat chat back, but these three guys are heading in all in the same direction. Which, there we go. He actually got those out. I was extremely worried there, though. Whew. It's just, I know where he's going. I should be able to beat him before he reloads. I guess personally do not want to get stuck down there. Alright, sounds good, Christian. But Jack, that line, it's not the easiest line to play, but it is very good from what I've seen. It's just, I'd rather go up the, you know, the T-44, T-54 line. Like, I did it before there was even a second Russian medium line. But, I'd much rather suggest that line, because they're more like true mediums. Yeah, we don't need to defend. There's like 4 of us, but this object is way out on his own. I don't want to push up if the object is at our base not doing anything. I'm just waiting for the object to come back, just because we have 2 tanks that are pretty much one-shottable. 183 is... okay. We're getting closer to where I'll peek out. Like, I'll do my best to try to spot him for these guys. Just the more room you give the bat chat, the worse off we are. Oops, there he is. I just need to apply pressure, that way he can't kill the M46. Ooh, he might catch me here. Oh, never mind. Now we got it as a win. It's just, you know, I was very concerned because those guys were playing extremely safe. Alright, M46 is going up, so we're good to go. Very nice. 4,400 damage, not too bad though. The grind's not that bad for the Russian mediums. You know, like any line, it's specifically the problem you're gonna have is. Let me just hop into the platoon here. The problem you're gonna have is with stock tanks primarily. Um, but you know, there's not too many tanks that are bad in the Russian line outside of stock. A lot of people don't like the T-44, but you have to kind of play it once you get it fully upgraded more as a um, like a light medium tank, more like that. So outside of that, that line's not bad at all. But just taking a quick peek at it. Whoops, that's the Chinese one. I always freaking do that. Yeah, essentially I went up the, you know, the initial line here. Like there's several ways you can go up the light tanks if you would like and get to the T-54 and these two tanks. Or you can go up, you know, the A-43, 44, and you know the objects here to be able to get to the T-54. And then if you go that way, it's slightly harder to play those tanks. Um, because of them being, you know, a little bit different with the rear turrets, but they are very heavily armored, just not too flexible with their gun depression. But hello, Sam. I forget if I said hello, but nice to see you here. Um, but yeah, that way you can actually get, you know, all three tier 10s. But, you know, the standard, you know, line following here, you know, it's a pretty tough line to complain about. I'm so stuffed up here. All right, so after yeah, we got the AMX M4 after this, and then if there's any other requests, I'll gladly, you know, take them as well. I'm gonna platoon here with Christian and Jerry for a bit. Yeah, I'm hoping. Like I'm starting to feel better now with each day, but hopefully I'm better by you know I keep saying the next stream. So all right, which it looks like tomorrow, the way they're doing these basically the December gifts, you're gonna have to check every single day um, the advent calendar that they're doing for each day for gifts. Essentially, I kind of think it's stupid that they don't really announce like hints at what's coming. Because pretty much you have to check the website every day to see what is kind of the special. Um, and, you know, we're going to see at least. I have a feeling that we're going to see the IS-6, the black version of that, the black mutts. Um, we're also going to see probably the KV-5, the Berling tanks. They do pretty much every Christmas now, it seems like. Um, but it'll be interesting to see if something else pops up. Um, well, yeah, Parade of Colors. Ah, okay, I'm the commander now. Thanks for that. I thought you were, you know, gonna hit the battle button. That was fine with me. What tier for free experience? Really, it depends on you know how much money you actually want to spend. But I would say tier 6 is a good starting point, if not tier 7. But I would say tier 6 is the point where you start facing, you know, a lot of tier 8s and basically almost every tank you start coming across at tier 6, because then you're facing primarily 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't see too many 4s. Um, you're gonna face almost all the tanks with 100% crews, pretty much elite tanks there, because a lot of people, you know, just skip to elite. configurations. Before that, you know, it's not that important. At tier 5, you can argue you should do it as well, but it's not as important as, you know, once you hit like tier 6. So, because that's kind of when you start getting thrown into the, for lack of better words, like end game queue, because a lot of people mainly stick around tier 8 to tier 10. I'm gonna head this way because we're in a tier 10 match. But essentially with this whole December, each day is kind of a new deal that they do. Um, they've kind of hinted at two tanks we've never seen before being released, which might be the black version of the IS-6 and the MUTs. If it isn't, however, I forget which ones that they were kind of floating around that we might see. There's a low tier, I think, Japanese tank that they've been testing for a while that hasn't been sold or anything yet. And there's a couple other little premium tanks that they're more, I think they're mid tiers, but that we haven't seen as well. So there might be a tank, you know, that hasn't been sold before that they've released, but I'm a little bit doubtful. The KV5, yeah, I think it's worth the money. It does need quite a bit of APCR to be functional against a lot of tanks, but it's a fun tank to play, and yes, it has, you know, some downsides, but the downsides aren't that bad for a preferential tier 8 tank. It's got DPM, got decent alpha. Really, the penetration just holds the gun back. And then, you know, you have a lot of HP and a lot of armor to chuck around. Yeah. Yep, I didn't want to take that second shot, but it looks like they are not pushing hard over here at all. We have a tortoise here. Hopefully we can just kind of bypass him. I'm going to try to take a shot here before... Never mind. He's playing more defensive now. Huh. Go figure, the Conqueror's aiming at me. Would have thought he'd be aiming at the T-95 over sitting there without any cover. I was going for that top little hatch there and I missed it. Alright, so I'm actually gonna switch up a little bit. We're gonna have plenty of people pushing towards the base. I should have been able to catch the scent, but I, you know, wasn't able to spot him that last little route. Alright, so they're hitting a little bit of resistance in the base. There we go. That's where the center spot comes into play. Hoping, you know, one of those bat chats in the center doesn't pop back out and spot me. Oops, never mind, they got him. This is a little bit risky here, but I think I gave up my spot on the Borsig, but let's go. Come on. You can do it, Patriot. Since our team's starting to splinter a little bit. I'm surprised that low is still alive, honestly. God, I don't have a repair kit. Whew, and my gun's out. Oh shit. Oh, this is like the luckiest bat chat in the world. He should have died a lot sooner in the match, but he got off lucky then, and he got off lucky now. It's just like, holy shit. Wish I got that lucky with critical hitting people. I am not liking my spot now. Oh lord. I'm really not liking my spot now. Especially with a damaged gun, it makes hitting this guy a little bit more difficult. Don't believe he can get off there, but we'll see. I already moved, so he does not have the best positions or positions to hit these guys now. He might be able to hit the scent, but I know I can be hit by the Conqueror. Yeah, I'm pretty much, screwed now. Unless for whatever reason he bounces off my upper plate. I can't even angle. He kind of had me wedged in there. But, 2200 damage, not too bad there. I do not have any recollection. I don't have any memory of that tank, Scud. So I don't know about that. If you could jog my memory on which tank that was, I forget when they were testing it or what have you. It's just there's probably about 10 tanks right now that they've tested. Most recently, the basically stock Tiger 2 that haven't been released. That one goes right over my head though. Alright, so the next one up was... Oops. French tanks are this way. The AMX N4. But, yeah, as far as sales go, after Black Friday and the whole Cyber Monday thing, I don't know, I'm not too optimistic for sales coming up. It's like for Christmas, usually there's always a big sale. Primarily with, they do basically what we just got for this Thanksgiving. A bunch of 50% off everything, consumables, equipment. They'll probably do like 15% off tier 8 to 10 tanks, 15% off like tier 8 premiums, stuff along those lines for, around the holidays and New Year's. But yeah, the tier 7, yeah, I don't know specifically what that tank was. I must have missed that one, but yeah, who knows? Because it's like German TDs, like they just released, the Scorpion somewhat soon or recently. It depends on if they don't put the Scorpion in the client, which I don't think they will. I could see that coming out sooner than later, only because really they just have the Dicker Max, because the E25 is not in the game. It's a German TD, and that's a possibility where that would kind of make sense for them to release and put it in the client, but that kind of depends on what they do with the Scorpion. I could see or like if I was wargaming, me specifically, I would, all these special skin tanks and stuff that they're doing, I would basically, after, because they monetize it by putting them in the gift shop, you can spend money on it, and, you can't spend your gold to get it. So they make more cash. I could, I would basically take all these skin tanks and after a patch or two, put them in the client for people to buy instead of having like dozens upon dozens of tanks only available in the gift shop. But, yeah, who knows? Yeah, I can play the Churchill one or the Black Prince. I don't have the 7, but yeah, I don't know. It's just some people are kind of saying that they might sell the Type 59 sometime coming up here in December. I think that's a small possibility. It's not ruled out because Type 59 isn't overpowered anymore. They've sell it on Blitz. They have sold it and I believe are still selling it on the console versions right now. So it is a possibility for us to see that, which would be interesting. They would probably buy themselves you know, a mini city or at least another skyscraper just off of Type 59 sales. Hello, Hydroflow. Nice to see you. I'm doing all right. Still a little sick, but definitely better than the last stream. My throat does not feel like sandpaper. Hello, David. Nice to see you. But if there's other requests, like I'm gonna play one of the Churchill tanks up next, I'll gladly take them. Like platoon here, Jerry and Christian for a while. So far, so good for us. We lost the last one, but we didn't do too shabby for a tier 10 match. This thing in tier 10, it's a little bit. Holy crap. I don't know what. That guy got lost. I would not be. Never mind, he's on fire. Like, I would not be surprised if he comes back up here and I can hit him. It's getting closer. Nope. I have no idea what he was doing. Alright, IS-7. I'm gonna support. I'll go with both of you guys, actually, if that's what they want. Yeah, I was trying to track him. I knew I couldn't pen him with the way he was angled, but, I'll give it a shot. Shit, this IS-4 is... to get chewed apart by the center because we don't have anyone in the center. Alright, so I know there's a T-95 there. I'm gonna risk it and go over here. I'm not going to keep pushing that way, at least yet. It's just where I was sitting, I didn't really have any shots there that were safe. I'm a little bit safer here. Already can, sneak a shot through on me when I'm firing here, but for the most part, I like this spot a lot better. Hello, Rich. Nice to see you. See if he makes another little... Oh, yeah, there's that arty shot. Still focusing on me for some reason. I guess I should be flattered. It gets annoying at some point, though. Alright, where the hell... Oh, there's our IS-4. I was about to say, where the hell did our frickin' IS-4 go? Alright, you gotta worry about this guy. Ooh, M41. I was about to say there's also a T-95 down here. Oh, I'm not too inclined in pushing into him. I'm just gonna wait for this WZ to come up, because... Or at least I was. Oh, Lord. I was trying to get the WZ to come, you know, around and hit him, but... Yeah. There we go. And of course I critical hit him, but not track him. It's just that T95 complicates things, because, you know, I can't pin him outside of hitting a little small spot. Again, critical hit, no damage. He's getting a pinch lucky here. But I'm of course getting flanked here. I'm gonna pretty much die. Maybe I can get this shot off. No. Oh well. That just came down to we pretty much went at them one by one. So that was our bad there as a team. Alright, so after this was Churchill. Churchill was up next. Yeah, I can play the T20. Unfortunately, I don't have the A44. If I did, I would play it for you, though. But yeah, I was talking about that Russian line earlier. It's not the easiest to play. Essentially, it's best on flat areas, and using your small size at times can help out. Yeah, I can play the WZ-111-14 and the Panther. Hello, Toma. Nice to see you. Yes, Rich. This hat makes your win rate 8 go up by, I don't know, 500, we'll say. That's alright, Toma. Hello, Martin. You never know. Maybe me and Ryan can... Oh, it's hard to talk right now. You know, start pumping out Christmas ornament hats. I can play the Dicker Max again, Martin. I'm just so stuffed up right now. At some point, I'll get the A44. It's like right now I have two tier 10s I almost can buy right now in the 113 and the T57 Heavy. They're up next with the Swedish tanks that are coming out for me to buy. I just want to get over this goddamn cold. I'm not feeling terrible today, but my head is just... it feels like I'm allergic to something and someone like is rubbing it in my face all day. But yeah, there's a reason why I did not go down that Russian line, the mediums, yet. They're very different to play, and they can be very good and very frustrating to play against, but only on flat ground and, you know, in specific circumstances. So they don't have gun depression. They have very good frontal armor for mediums, but it's just one of those tanks where it's very situational. Holy shit, Cromwell, like, you had the alright idea there, but I don't know why you pushed up that much, especially because, you know, pretty much nobody is up there to get shots. Oh, I hate people who do that, like... Yeah, the Dicker Max, I've been having fun with it, getting damage, but it definitely is a hard tank to win with, because really you have one role, you know, support, big gun, gun depression on hills, but you literally cannot take shots in that thing. You can't push too far because it can't flex too well. It's, you know, it's a one-trick pony, which fortunately that one-trick pony does a lot of damage, but doesn't always win you matches doing damage. Might make your stats look good, but especially playing solo, damage, you know, it's only half of the equation. Yeah, basically, Martin. Like, you can't. I hate using that word because it gets used way too much, but, yeah, the only way you can carry in a Decker Max is if the enemy team lets you. It's not like, say, at Tier 6, if you're in, like, a Team 150 and the enemy, can't penetrate you and you angle very well. I'm going to take a risk here and go across. I should, it should be fine here. Because it looks like it's just these two guys down here. Let's see if I can... Thank you. That works half the time. Just sticking your track wheel out. Fortunately with the Churchill you can do that pretty easy because they stick pretty far out. But if I see someone shoot like that, especially miss, with low HP, it's pretty much push into him. You don't have to worry too much. It's like if I was at Hellcat low HP, you wait for them to push up with their able to hit their hull armor, so you actually can get some damage in before you die. Yeah, well, that kind of balances out the gun. I don't want to be behind him. I am behind him, but... Okay. Why would you just pop out again like that? That was very risky on his part. Luckily I set that guy on fire. Awesome. Oh, dude. That was partially my fault. I saw him doing that, but at the same time, just why? Like... But fortunately the Churchill has a pretty good gun. It's got a little bit of everything. It's not weak in any one specific area. Alright, now we do have this problem to contend with. Or, never mind. They got the KV-2 out near base. There's plenty of them back for that Stug. I was about to say, gotta be a little bit careful about not leaving, our base open, because I'm not in the fastest tank in the world. Well, yeah, pretty much. Like, the Dicker Max, very, very good at its job, but, it's a pretty old premium, too, and it hasn't been power creeped, because it does that job so well. It's like, I still remember the day when they were, testing it on the test server, and everyone was all giddy over it, because it, had such a good gun on it. Which, excuse my sniffling. I'm trying my best not to, be too gross here. No. That's not good. Not good, not good. Just unfortunately with these trees, can't spot them very well. With the ram out though, they're gonna have a slightly hard time getting me. I might take one hit here. But I should be able to, inch up before I can get too... Never mind. Oh, I was about to say, I should have been able to make it, but the Jackson didn't get popped by the VK. He was sitting down there. We should still win this, but I should have looked at the VK a little closer before I pushed up. He was just sitting down here, and he wasn't ready to pop up to hit the Jackson. Well, that's pretty much a lot of the Churchills right now. They're, premium rounds really hurt them. Yeah, it's like that's how most TDs are supposed to be. Like, It's like when turret TDs, the TDs for the Americans when they first came out, they were extremely different than they're balanced now, and a lot of the TDs that are turreted are balanced differently now. But when they first came out, it was like such a big deal for wargaming. Um, oh God, not to say we're gonna lose, but they need to get the cap and they need to push together onto Jackson because we're at a huge disadvantage now. Uh, I hate watching matches after I die. It gets stressed that it stresses me out a little bit. Um, but yeah, after this, I was gonna play the what was it WZ 111 14, or no, I was gonna play the T20 was up next, then the WZ, the Panther, and then the Dicker Max. Get a shot in. Ooh, that went well at least. At least he's down to one-shottable levels. If he had missed that shot, I was not too confident in, a Hetzer being able to get 2 hits off. But if I'm not mistaken about the Jackson's gun, I believe the Hetzer can, survive 1 hit. I was about to say they can. I was about to say to Jackson. Yeah, he was waiting off on the side. Ooh, thank you very much for the tip. I appreciate it very much. Glad I can help. Hello, Graham. I gotta get used to that sound still. This is gonna be iffy. I don't think he has time either to wrap back around. Awesome. Good job, Hetzer. Oh, that was a little too close for comfort. Alright, so the next request up was the trusty old T20. Awesome job, by all of us. It's just pushing on that last spot was a little tough, especially because they're Jackson. I wasn't expecting him to be able to get 2 hits on me, but it all worked out in the end. Trying my best not to knock this hat off again. I do not want to break it. I might have to bring this actually. I have a Christmas party to go to. A friend of Ryan's family, like a week before Christmas, which I'm gonna have to switch my schedule for streaming. I think I told you guys around the holidays, but that's understandable for everybody. Because I'll be at a Christmas party one of these Sundays that I had to stream. But they're having like an ugly sweater contest. I think I might win it if I have an ugly sweater and a completely crazy Christmas ornament hat. This Christmas party's a blast, though. It's pretty fun. They call it Crazy Christmas. Um, Essentially, the wife, she kind of orchestrates it all. There's probably like 30 people at the party, and I actually want to do it with my family because it's a pretty interesting idea. Like she'll put stuff down, like say like a Sharpie or a tissue or something, paperclip, and vaguely associates it with like an actual gift that's, you know, typically a pretty good gift. Like they put some good stuff in there sometimes. um, and you know, it's anywhere from like gift cards to they've put in like beer brewing kits. I forget what else, but essentially pretty interesting gifts that kind of fit with everybody's personality. And you kind of bid, and you could steal against each other. You know, you're like taking a paperclip away from somebody, and then at the end you figure out what you win. So that's a pretty fun thing to go to. If you only can buy one tank from the premium shop. The exception of the Patriot, the Liberté. What do you mean, and their counterparts? Do you mean the other, like, themed tanks, like the Mutts and the Scorpion? That'll help narrow it down for me. I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm still stuffed up as all hell, but my throat's doing a little bit better. Hey, did someone get banned? You didn't get banned, did you, Graham? It was kind of interesting because I didn't, you know, I haven't talked about, you know, Wargaming banning people yet. We had T95. I was waiting because, you know, we're tier 7s. But it looks like they're pushing through the center, which is kind of good for us. We just lost the Tiger 1. Essentially, I talked about it the day before that Wargaming was, you know, gearing up to kind of ban people. Lo and behold, they banned people that night. But, you know, it's just the first wave, they were saying. That's not going to be, you know, the grand total of people getting hit. Which, this is going to be a terrible match. Our team needs to push, but they're not going to push. I want to go back to base, but I'm just so confused at where I need to go now. I was not expecting the tortoise to move up. Backing up is not going to help right now. Backing up, you're just going to be surrounded even more so by enemies. Not that the tortoise is doing us any favors now, but... I'll say my one hope was setting the KV-3 on fire. Come on, gun. That's what we need. We need, like, you know, a couple ammo racks, a couple engines on fire here. Get things going. Ooh, crikey. Sorry, T95. I know he is aiming at you. I also have a T10. I think I'm safer going back towards the M103 here. Or, not safer, but be more useful. Shit, I guess ran into the frickin' wall. Come on, keep aiming at me. I know I can outpace him. Okay. Oh shit, I did not expect him. Yeah, shit, I actually damaged him. Thank God for, you know, auto-aim there. Awesome. I'm gonna load APCR, because otherwise I have no chance. Shit. It's just me and a T95. Artie. Hi, T54. I can't see where Artie's at now. Oh god, he got me. I was about to say, I was going with safety by being next to the tiger, but that, you know, that didn't last for too long. I had to move off of him. But it ended up being closer than I thought it was, but still pretty bad loss there. Alright, so, yeah, pretty crappy defeat, but a decent amount of damage at least for tier 7. Alright, let me just get a couple personal reserves off here again. After this was the WZ request. He did ban some troll early on. I didn't see that. Thank you. Okay, I thought you meant, you know, their counterparts like, I don't know, other tier 8s like that. it's a hard question. Really, with premiums, I always say you want to go with tank lines that you either have and you need a crew trainer for, or you want to go with, you know, ones that you're going to need a crew trainer for down the line. Because premium tanks, they're nice and all for credits, but once you have, say, a tier 8, they all earn about the same credits, more or less. Like, it depends on how well you do with said tier 8 tank, but really they're within, say, 10% profit margin, most of them. So first you have to factor in that, because, you know, you can have so many premiums. Like, I have tons of them now. It's hard to play a lot of them. Typically, I gravitate towards the ones that, you know, I'm crew training for, especially for a new line. That's important. Because when people say, oh, like, the Patriot's so much better in the T-34 and stuff, yes, it kind of is, like, in the important areas, but the T-34, hell, it depends on the situation. T-34 can wipe the floor of the Patriot if they're at long range, both hull down. Patriot can't penetrate the T-34's frontal turret unless it gets lucky. But essentially, it's kind of hard for me to say. You have the Mutts, the Scorpion, IS-6, the 112's removed, but we're probably going to see that in December. You have the T-34, KV-5. What else is there? The Type 59, but that's removed. I would probably say I'd go with the IS-6, the Mutts, or the KV-5. That's narrowing it down to 3. But first and foremost, go with crew training. And then if it's just on fun factor, I would probably say the KV-5 actually. But I do have the AT-50A. That is a very good tank. That's up there too, but it's not the easiest to play, and that is very map dependent too. That's my favorite tier 7 premium. But it is very, very map dependent and team dependent, because it's low alpha, slow, and its armor works, but is easily negated if people hit your weak spots. Awesome. I didn't get the spotting damage there, but nonetheless, awesome. Ooh, Lord. I think I'm safer pushing closer to him and hoping, yeah, I get a bounce. Lost a little bit more HP than I wanted there, but at least we got, you know, the general vicinity of the rock. We just need our guys to start inching up with us that are behind us, specifically those TDs. them starting to move up, I'll reward them and spot for them. Buy all 3? Holy crap, that's a lot of money. But more or less, like, World of Tanks does a great job when it comes to premiums and keeping them relevant. Like, people complain about the T-34 and stuff like that, how it's underpowered. I honestly don't think it's that bad. Yes, it's probably going to get a buff, but... Oh, I screwed up there. That was very bad on my part. I pushed up just far enough. I can't zoom out far enough, but basically he could just see the small little bit of my lower glacis. That was my bad there. But the AT-15A, I can hop into that after, the requests, yeah. But yeah, more or less, you can't go too wrong with a premium tank. Outside of when they sell, like, the quote-unquote super rare tanks at, $100 for the PZ4 Hydro. Like, that's not exactly worth it. If you're just looking for the tank and not the other stuff with it. But yeah, I would still say KV5, the Mutz is pretty fun and good for a medium. And then the IS-6, you can't go too wrong there. Hello, John. Nice to see you. But yeah, after this request was the Panther was up next. And then we had the Dicker Max. Yeah, and then after that, I can hop into the AT-15A. I'm a little annoyed at myself for letting that T-30 get me. Like, he might have been able to pen my turret. The WZ's turret has weak hatches and a couple little weak flat spots, but I'm pretty sure I showed enough of my lower plate for him to hit that. Surprised. I was about to call him a reindeer because I want to dress him up as a reindeer for the stream. Ryan won't let me, but I'm surprised Levi isn't running around trying to annoy me here because I was cleaning for most of the day and he has learned to accept the vacuum, but you guys know dogs, they hate vacuums. But he's accepted it enough to where sometimes, because he gets really bad skin and shedding if he gets, something he's allergic to is near him, I'm able to vacuum him and he just kind of puts his head down and lets me vacuum him. It's kind of funny, but yeah. Alright, so Churchill's up next. Is that somebody from the stream here? I'll accept it, but yeah, I didn't really get too much done. I got a little bit of a spotting damage, but all in all, at least we got a pretty nice win there. It wasn't anything too long or drawn out. Alright, so Panther next up. Well, the Churchill 3 is a good premium. It's preferential. Really, the main hit on it is the weak turret armor. Like, the gun's workable. It only really struggles against tier 6s a little bit, but even then, I think it's a pretty good tank. And the Churchill 3, they haven't always accepted it or will confirm it, but they have said it before. It does have a slightly higher experience coefficient than other tanks. Hello, Nice Cuppa, nice to see you. Essentially, you earn more experience in the Churchill 3 doing less damage and other stuff than other tanks of that tier. So you can grind out some experience on that thing. That's good that your work internet improved. I wish mine at work would improve, but internet in I forget how old, essentially a vintage Victorian era hotel, you could probably expect it to be pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I do have the Black Prince, Matilda Black Prince too. I really liked it when it first came out, but that thing, that's been power creeped a little bit. Well, the gun for a preferential tank, because they essentially had both the same gun stats, more or less. It's good for its job. It's not meant to go toe to toe with, heavy tanks or high alpha tanks. Kind of like the KV5. It's more of like a medium tank bully, stuff like that. And if you're up against heavy tanks or high alpha stuff, you have to think a little bit more. But kind of getting back to say that the Black Prince is power creeped. When those tanks were released, I'll say the early days of World of Tanks, so say like the first 2 years, the game, it had more of that. Tanks weren't, expected to be, able to fight against every single tank they came up to be. Matchmaker used to be ±4, then ±3, then 2. But essentially, you came across tanks where you had to either think about avoiding them, working as a team to attack them, and back then, Churchill 3 was considered pretty much the best tier 5 premium. Black Prince, when it first came out, was pretty good. But nowadays, they are a little bit power creeped. I would say the Churchill 3 is still good. But the Matilda Black Prince is definitely... I try to avoid playing that as well. Pretty sure I ripped all the equipment off of it. But it just comes down to, back then the mentality was different in World of Tanks, and the changes without any corresponding buffs for those tanks have definitely hurt them a lot. But that's why I was kind of excited about the Overmatch changes and, tanks becoming a little bit more armor focused. It was, it wasn't going to change the game as much as some people whined about, but I was pretty excited for it. It was going to put a little bit more thinking into the game and a little bit less double tap too. Which, I'm guilty of doing that, but it's kind of how the game has, progressed and turned into. Okay. He took a shot. T-29 spotted me. But just enough time to squeak in a little hit there. Now, a map like this where you're mainly brawling, not exactly the best tank in the world here. There's not too many spots for me to, support at long range. I don't like my chances going toe to toe with either of those tanks head on. Holy crap, how is he still alive? Alright. Came just in time. Let's see if I can inch up a little bit more here. It's just the T-44 is, at a spot where he can spot me. Come on. Good accuracy on this, but it was not wanting to work there. Oops, sorry there. Our north is not... Holy shit, there's a 704. Oh lord, he was sitting literally right out in the open. Gotta hate the view range of this game, or the mechanics sometimes. It's not the first time I've seen someone do that, but he was definitely skirting the edge of, the view range on purpose there. Alright, I think our only chance here, not to ditch you guys here, is the breakthrough here with the bat chat. not the blat chat. Flanking. We really need to get this guy out quick. So I think our best play is going to be trying to cap more or less. I play arty when it's requested, John. You know, I have several SPGs, but recently I haven't had too much of an urge to play it. But, you know, if you do have a request, I will pop into an SPG for you. Alright, I was hoping not to get shot again. Thanks, T-34. Oh, awesome. Are you freaking kidding me, dude? Thanks, T-34. You're a real pal. Like, I took 3 or 4 extra shots there because that T-34 was too afraid to pop out in front of that one tank. Thanks. Awesome. But yeah, I don't mind, you know, I don't mind playing SPGs for requests. I just don't personally go out of my way to play them right now, unless I'm doing missions. Yeah, I kind of made a... Well, I mentioned it earlier on the stream, but I also made a Facebook post about it. And yeah, they've been scrapped for this patch. You know, they're not scrapped altogether. But yeah, they have been scrapped for the patch. I feel like if they were implemented without the bug that was in, you know, the first iteration and second of the test server, because there was a bug that allowed, you know, like the Scorpion armor to be, you know, super bouncy at high angles. It wasn't supposed to be like that for armor that thin. It was mainly supposed to help out roof armor and promoting side scraping. I feel like if that bug wasn't in the code then, because they did say that it wasn't implemented correctly the first test server iteration, I feel like people would have complained less. But you know, wargaming went with what you know, the players want, for better or for worse. So you can't say they don't listen to you now. I don't have the GW Panther. I have the T92, T50, or M50. There you go, M53. I have the premium French arty, and that rounds out most of my equipped arties. I have a couple others I don't have, you know, crewed up and equipped up. So. But it hasn't been scrapped entirely. It's just been taken out of this patch, and they're going to rework it a little bit. It's definitely going to come back in some form. It's, you know, it's just something where it kind of sucks they scrapped it entirely for this patch, because they're looking to rework the game. Essentially, the new overmatch mechanics. Hello, Vazo. Nice to see you. Hopefully you're having a good day. They're looking, you know, to make armor more relevant and to make the game, essentially angling and stuff, more relevant again. Going in line with the sandbox changes, which people bring up, you know, the sandbox changes were so drastic and this and that. If you kind of look at what they were doing as a whole, they're looking to make light tanks more relevant, more view range. They're looking to decrease view range a little bit on other tanks, specifically PDs and heavy tanks, to make them more reliant on mediums and light tanks. They're looking to make mediums less viable at long range, as well as heavy tanks. And really, they're just looking to balance the game to make every class viable, and also make premium shells a little bit less, you know, needed for, you know, and basically they're making premium rounds a little bit less pay to win, to say it that way. But yeah, I can add the AMX. I do have the Japanese heavies up to the OHO. I can play any of them. The new Overmatch, essentially it took out the overmatch right now. If your gun has 2x the caliber of the armor thickness, you get a pretty significant normalization boost, so it negates the armor angle on a tank by a certain amount. I forget the specific amount. So it makes it easier to pen. And once you hit 3x, essentially it boosts it so much, the normalization bonus that you get from it, it's essentially auto pen. In most cases, the new overmatch, I forget the specific formula that they had out. Thank you, Bazo. The specific formula they had, essentially what it did, it removed those two clearly defined, you know, unrealistic values. Essentially, you know, if you knew your gun was 3x the caliber of an armor, you're always going to pen. If it's 2x, almost always you're going to pen. It removed that and made it more linear. So, you know, each size and caliber going up, it makes it more likely you're going to penetrate, say, a 30 millimeter plate, rather than just knowing that you need a 90 millimeter gun or up to 3x overmatch it. That's more or less what the new overmatch mechanic did. Is it made it, you know, a little bit more complex, but a little bit more, you know, fair in a way, to where some tanks that had a ton of armor across, you know, the almost the entire tank, but had, say, like the IS-4, a weak turret roof, or like the T-34, it made it more viable for those tanks to bounce shots where its armor should be thick or strong, mainly just turret roofs they were looking to fix. They were just, you know, looking to fix that little thing that's been in World of Tanks for a while. But, you know, people got all caught up in just the IS-3, the Object 140, stuff like that, and then the Scorpion to top it off, the Tier 7 American TD. There is a bug in the new Overmatch code, which is, they're going to rework it, and I wouldn't be surprised if the next patch we see it's going to be reintroduced. Essentially, very thin armor like that wasn't supposed to gain the boost that it was, and, you know, people got hung up on that, and unfortunately it kind of, you know, ruined our plans. Yay. Jack, you can contact support about transferring accounts, but as far as what I know, they do not do that unless, like, they usually have like specific times when they did that, like when the SEA server and other servers first opened up, they gave people like a window of opportunity to, you know, transfer their account over. I don't think they do that on a regular basis though, but your best bet would be, you know, contact customer support. They might be able to help, but I don't think they do it. You can thank my girlfriend for making it, and a lot of the guys here for suggesting, you know, a crazy hat. But yeah, it's extremely unlikely that they'll do it, honestly. Just auto aim there. Sometimes, you know, long range like that without them moving, I trust auto aim over my own aiming. No! Auto aim failed me. Ah, Lord. Give it one more try. There we go. Alright, so after the Dicker Max, looking at requests, AT-15A was up, T-92 request, AML or AMX ELC request. I'll play the OHO 2. Alright, pretty decent match for Dicker Max here. So I say AT-15A. Let's get that tank here. Haven't played this in quite some time. Yes, Fazo. Most people, like, I'm running it as well. Like, I use the 10 centimeter for the Oni. The Oho, though, it's better with the 15 centimeter, honestly. You're not going to be gimped by the 10 centimeter. Essentially, with that, it does get an upgrade at 10 centimeter, but the 15 centimeter you can just chuck out HE, and once you get close enough, you actually can overmatch again using since it's not going to change. You just need to know that your gun is essentially 2x or 3x the caliber, and you just shoot down into people's roof with the OHO with AP or even heat, and you just auto pen. They were looking to fix that, but yep, they listened to player base. But I kind of agree. It's better that they get all the kinks out before they release it to the live server. I more or less think they're going to make kind of tweak their formula so any armor between 1 millimeter and I would guess about 20 isn't going to receive that much of a boost from the new overmatch changes, the next version that we see of it. Thank you, Toma. The left side. I'm trying to see. Unfortunately, we have the same tank, so we move at the same speed. Yeah, I can add a T-44-100 on. What Nice Cup has said. You gotta make it a Iron Fist. It looks like two people holding hands too. I think I'm gonna head south. It's just, I'm heading this way primarily because, there's only one other tank down here as of yet. But moving north, I'm not too confident in pushing around up there in this. Like, the armor on this is good. But, I might take a hit here. There, I'm good. So I'd say I might take a hit, but they didn't spot me in time. Alright. This is going to come down to, he hit me in my weak spot right off the bat. And I'm getting shot by a Cromwell. That's, there's an E25 up there. So I got to push even further than I want it to here. Because our team is not holding the center. I didn't want to shoot APCR here. But I'm gonna have to go with it. And this wiggling, it looks chaotic here, but that's how you stop people hitting your frickin' the loader's hatch. You just wiggle. You just wiggle like hell. Any kind of AT series, like the Tortoise and stuff too, I just, you wiggle the frickin' hell out of the tank. You just jam your DPM down their throats. It came out a little bit wrong. Alright, this is a problem because he's, fairly accurate. But your gun's pretty good where, you wiggling around a bit doesn't do yourself that much of a disservice. More so than it does helping you. You're better off bouncing the shells than you know, missing the occasional shot because you're, you know, schizophrenic. Alright, since I got backup, I'm not too concerned about pushing close to the Panther. Normally, you want to be careful because you can get flanked easily in this. Very nice. Next up's the VK. The meal's one-shottable. I'll have to catch up on chat in a second there. I see the meal. I was not ready to hit him now, but thank you for taking him out. Is this guy? He caught me there. I angled a little bit too late for him. But essentially playing this tank, you pick a spot where you're not going to get flanked, and you just basically play aggressive in it. Or stay at range and kind of just keep chucking shells at them. If you know you can pen them at long range. It's just APCR with this. It does gain a lot of penetration, but it's extremely expensive to lose. Even damaging a tank with APCR, you're always losing credits. Unlike some other premiums with higher alpha, you'll actually earn credits penetrating. This thing, you always lose them. So I only swap over to them when I need to gain an edge early on and kind of get them backpedaling so they don't sit there aimed in at me, or if it's a critical moment. Somebody charged people to go to their Thanksgiving dinner? That's a that's a pretty dick move. No other way to word that other than that person has a dick move. If that's what, you know, that's what I take out of it. Pretty decent match though. Mastery badge first class, steel ball, cool headed, high caliber. AT-15A it's a great tank. I liked it before they. I needed to switch these around for safe stowage. Waiting for whatchamajig. The a crew sale again. All right, so I think Artie was up next. T92. God help me. Alright, so yeah, T92. And then we have AMX ELC and an OHO. And then the T44 100. Well, Jack, keep in mind, AT-15A, like, I do really well in the tank. Some people don't exactly like it. I would say if you can, even though I don't think it's purchasable in the client, the test server is always nice with testing tanks out. Even if you don't, you know, you get enough gold and credits to test out any tank. So, but honestly, I forget the website. It's called like Damage Horror or something, or it's something that rates people for each server. I found it on WoT Labs, the forum, and it ranks people top 100 for each tank on a server. I think I was the third person for the 1815A, so take my matches with a grain of salt. I've played that tank enough to where, you know, I do really well with that. But I honestly didn't. I played it a ton before they buffed it and gave it preferential matchmaking. I liked it before that, and once they gave it that, I'm like, holy shit, this is like the perfect tank for premium tank. Well, we see it at, you know, with us doing 450 people for Thanksgiving, pretty much the highest we've ever done. with a freaking, like, it was about 100-person waiting list that we had because we didn't have enough room. Seems like a lot of people are ready to pay for Thanksgiving and don't want to cook it. Did it start with a B? Yes, I do, Martin. I go the long run for all my crews. I go with Brothers in Arms, then pick other crew skills. You know, like Sixth Sense, stuff like that. I primarily do that because I'm cheap. I don't like wasting my time by resetting for credits and losing, you know, several matches worth of experience. Nobody's heading this way. And I don't like paying gold to reset my crews, so I just go with Brothers in Arms first. Yeah, nobody's heading that way. That's a little terrifying. I might get a lucky little shot, but I'm gonna run this way. They did spot, you know, some people over here, but too late for me to whip around, I think. Yeah, way too late. Oh, I could have taken a shot there. I should have. I suck in it as an SPG player, honestly. I'll admit it. I should have aimed back here, but I didn't. Alright, I don't have a good hit at this T-57 in the least bit. I'll take that crack. I at least splashed him. Well, I'm going to start running this way. Yeah, it is pretty similar. AT-15A actually has armor, though. What? Swap out your crew skills? Essentially, you can reset your crew skills for either free, if you click on them and hit the reset button, or for credits. It's like 20k, I think. You lose like 20% of your experience you earned. Or there's the gold option where you don't lose any. But more or less, I don't like going with that option because, you know, I don't like wasting money or time on something like crew skills. But you can do that. I'm probably going to regret doing this. I think I'm going to head back down here. I don't think I have I don't have a shot on him unless I run. But I was initially going to K1. I should have went to K1. But those two guys got there a little bit late for me to make that call. And the T-50s... what the hell. I'll take another crack up here. But like I said, I'm bad at SPGs for a reason. I'm extremely indecisive. And right now, with the way SPGs are balanced, that punishes you a lot. I'm gonna hope I can splash him. Oh, yay, awesome. Oh, Lord. I regret my decision now because these AMXs are completely free reign to kill me. Yep, I should have ran away when I had a chance. There's a reason I don't like Tundra, though. I've grown to accept it when I'm in a medium or a heavy tank, but outside of that... yeah, I don't like it outside of that. Light tanks, nope. SPGs, definitely not. Okay. I'm seen now. And I reset my aiming circle. Awesome. That's a nice shot there. Holy crap, a freaking Yag Tiger. Help! I don't think I'm gonna make it. Oh, he didn't kill me, but at least I'm gonna be able to... annoy the hell out of this guy by running away if Artie can't hit me. Ah, thank you, Uber. Whoopsie daisy. Oh, I don't have gun depression. My only chance here. Oh, I just shot too, but it was like a half second too late. Oh well. At least I didn't get skunked here. Hello, Saljan. Nice to see you. For the hat maker and burn victim. She'll appreciate that. Especially after the day she's having today. She's currently I don't even know how many miles away right now. She's at class tonight. So she's a good 100 miles away? No, not 100. 60? 80? She drives pretty far for college. How much did I charge at the restaurant per head for Thanksgiving? That doesn't sound too Thanksgiving-y, Graham. We completed SPG4. Awesome. Oh shit, I did better than I thought there. I guess I hit someone I didn't see. Alright, so after this, let me load up the AMX ELC. That was the next request up. Essentially, it's hard. I forget what we charged per head for family style. I believe it was anywhere, because we do, I think kids get charged less than adults, of course, but I'm fairly sure it was between $25 and $35 a head for, essentially you got super salad, and then with that you got, the whole vegetables, potatoes, sides, breads, the whole turkey carved, gravy, and all that for your main course. And then you got dessert as well, like whole pies and stuff like that. So I believe kids it was like 25, and for adults it was 30, 35. And then for our a la carte menu, that was a 4-course menu actually. For a la carte, you got an app, and then you got super salad, your main course, whatever you pick, like filet, the turkey and stuff, and then you got dinner. The entree for that itself, essentially one plate of Thanksgiving dinner for the entree, that itself was $32. So she shouldn't have a problem teaching close. It's essentially she's gone to, this is her second college. She majored at Penn State, or not majored, she got her bachelor's at Penn State. Now she's finishing her master's up at a different college. It's just it's cheaper to do that. Thank you, Dana. Always appreciate it. Essentially, it's cheaper to, she's finishing her master's up there, since she went to Penn State for 2 different bachelor degrees. But essentially, she'll have no problem. She teaches at the school 5 minutes away from me that I went to as a kid, and once they get an opening, they would surely hire her from what they've been telling her. Outside of that, the furthest she'd have to drive for a teaching job down here, because her cousin's also a teacher down here as well, is about 25 minutes tops. They're always looking for teachers down here because it's not exactly, a lot of people go for service industry down here, fishing, stuff like that. and she's going for high school education, which a lot of people nowadays, sadly, that go to be teachers, from what I've heard from her and also seen from people I went to school with, they go to be elementary school teachers because they think it's easy. Yeah, the ELC, I have some problems with this tank, especially on maps like this. I'm kind of driving around aimlessly right now because I'm looking to see where the enemies are before I dive in and kill myself. I don't mean that literally, it's just that typically what happens. Sorry, Jack. It is a pretty different tank. I do like it on open maps, but maps like this, it's definitely hard to get damage off. And your size actually works against you on maps like this to get spotting damage, because a lot of times you're shorter than a lot of the cover. Don't aim at me. When in doubt, press 2 with the AMX. You turn into a TD. I usually do Martin, but sometimes, you know, it slips up. But this map, if they're on your cap, typically you lost. Okie dokie. Let's see if I can spot somebody. Didn't see anything yet. There's the KV-1S, of course. And there's an M6. I could have popped him. Oh shit. I was not expecting him to see him there, honestly. That was a bad shot on my part. I do have support here, though. I think. Take a shot, thank you. Oh no. Here we go. Awesome. Thank you, Jerry. Aiming quicker. Ah, it missed. Oh shit. I don't need APCR for him, but I kind of wish that first shot had hit him. Thank you for killing him. Holy shit, was that a bad miss. Alright, this M6, I'm going to try to squeak by. Yeah, he's far enough back, I'm safe. The Nashorn, he actually helped with the T-150. I've done nothing other than squeal and run around like an idiot. That hurt. I was hoping he wasn't able to hit me. Please don't track myself. T-67 shot me from up here. Really make it or break it. I'm gonna lose a lot of speed here. Here he is, all the way up there. Awesome. Right, is he gonna come this way? Yep. My guys are, you know, one spot, which, you know, isn't the end of the world. I do not have a good shot at him. I just have a feeling this T-67's gonna pop up and get me. Or not. I'll head up here and see where he went. Oops. Shit. A little bit too far to the left there. Alright. We know he's up there. It's just... Come on, guys. What the hell? Like, all those... What are they waiting for? I guess I'll move closer, but... Are you freaking serious? There we go. Awesome. It's just like, I don't know what they were sitting there waiting for. At least we got a win there. I got a mastery badge second class, even though I didn't do too much. Nice job for those two. So after this, I know there's... Okay, the OHO T-44-100. OHO's this way. Let's pop into that bad boy here. But yeah, if there's any other requests after that, I'll gladly take them. But yeah, for going on about Thanksgiving still, next year, I think we're going to have to find more space to fit more people. We almost didn't have enough oven space to cook all the turkeys this year, but yeah, it was... We had just enough to be able to fit probably another, I would say, round of turkeys, which equates to about... It equates to about maybe like 50 more people. Trying to find a photo here. I have a photo of Thanksgiving. I don't know if it's actually going to come out. I forgot to upload it to the PC here. But I don't know if this is actually going to turn out correctly here. Going off of my phone. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys. If I can blow this up. That's essentially half the turkeys I had to prep. It's my little conveyor line there. It looks very grotesque, but essentially I went in that day. I sanitized our entire dishwashing area, prep area, the whole back half of our kitchen, and we just turned it into a conveyor of turkey madness. You stuff them with herbs, season them, wrap them, and we had about four of the racks that you kind of saw on the back, full of turkeys. Alright, so we got the OHO here. I'm heading south. Yeah, I can add the WZ-120. Yeah, and both of the Centurion and the Black Prince. And the VK. I still have an hour here, so I got plenty of time. It is a lot of turkeys. Oh, it was the most I've ever had to do for Thanksgiving there. The hardest part's frickin' thawing them out, honestly. Like, it makes our walk-in fridge, I would say, at least 3 degrees cooler, having that many in, because they come in frozen. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but typically our walk-in is just above freezing, our fridge. So, you know, it drops it to almost freezing, if not below freezing in some sections of it. See you, Scud. Thanks for watching. And hello, Pez. Nice to see you. Oh, how'd I miss that? I actually do want to eat turkey. We still have some leftover. We don't still serve it right now. You know, it's definitely far past being able to sell it. But I always get the leftover portions that we don't have a use for. So I'm going to be eating a lot of turkey this winter. It's one perks of the job. You get You know, you get all the leftovers, especially at the end of the year. This is my last weekend that I'm open to the public for. I only have parties after this weekend. Part of the OHO is, yep, they can pretty much penetrate me pretty damn easy. Most tanks. You look like you have a lot of armor, but you easily do not have any armor if they double tap too. It's like specifically getting hit right there. That probably shouldn't have pinned me, if I can say so myself, but I definitely need to. Unfortunately, I can't. I'm probably gonna die here now. Oh, Lord. It's just, I don't have enough gun depression to fight further back. I might squeak back here. Nope. But, yeah, unfortunately, I've had fun with the OHO so far. Like, I did position pretty bad there. Don't get me wrong, but for a tank this size, your armor pretty much sucks against tier 9 and 10. Even standard rounds from a lot of 10s can just punch through. You know, the flat bits on these. This flat bit, if you're angled, they can hit you on the corners here. Your lower plate isn't the strongest. Even your turret, it's angled, but they can punch through the flat bits near your mantlet. It's a good tank, but it's definitely, you know, one where in a match like this, it's hard to play anything other than hiding in the back and not getting hit. Yeah, they don't have turkey where you're at, Jack? Which I actually I actually find weird. Like, outside of Thanksgiving and like this time of year, you rarely hear of people eating turkey outside of like a lunch sandwich or something, or like turkey sausage. Hell, I love turkey all times of the year. I mainly only get it if I find it on like a decent sale at the grocery store. But it's just funny that you don't see, because so many people here eat chickens, like you don't see turkey. So yeah, unfortunately our team kind of we went about it the wrong way. I always find winning down here gets you the win, because if you try to win up here, it's very hard to make the turn and, you know, weed the enemies out of the rest of the map. But I definitely played it incorrectly, so. Hey, everyone's welcome to come eat at the restaurant next year. But Thanksgiving outside of the restaurant for me, there's really no Thanksgiving for my family outside of the restaurant. We do Christmas, and we do Christmas, you know, pretty well. Uh, when it comes to my family, like, that's probably our one holiday where we're all together. Outside of that, though, Thanksgiving, we usually, most of them hate. They say they hate it, so. Just because it's a lot of work. Hello, Graham. I guess you're not banned. There were rumors. I'm just kidding. T44-100 was the next request. Yeah, we got the T44-100. Do you want a platoon, Graham? Because I can, like, Jerry and Christian here, we're having a good time, but I'll gladly make room since we've been platooning, you know, for about, you know, hour and a half, a little over that. So just let me know. And if anybody else wants a platoon, you know, I always try to, you know, fit everybody in who wants a platoon if I'm platooning. Yeah, I could see where it could be expensive for people, you know, if you're outside of the U.S. Because I don't think, are turkeys even outside the continental United States? I don't think so. I could play a high tier German. It's gonna be the RHM Scorpion though. Yeah, I live in South New Jersey. I definitely don't mean it that way. Excuse. I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting to hit my mute button whenever I sniffle. I set it up before the last couple streams when I'm sick, and I keep forgetting to use it. That's what I thought. I knew about him wanting the turkey to be a national bird, and people thought, it didn't display like, strength having this little fat little chubby bird with feathers on it, or like, stupid feathers in a way. Because turkeys look pretty ridiculous. I see a couple running around, because I get up at the ass crack of dawn for work. Some days I had to like stop because you see little turkey groups running across the street. Maybe I'll head north. Name of our restaurant. It's Lethia's restaurant. It's in Cape May. It's named after my aunt. Essentially, my grandparents. My family story is, fairly interesting. Essentially, my grandfather's dad, or no, my grandfather's grandfather started out like the family run of being entrepreneurs slash businessmen with like a family farm. Then it turned into like a food distributor, duck hunting guides, and eventually my grandfather, he purchased 2 hotels, had a food distribution company, and 2 restaurants, and he named one after my aunt, his daughter. Her name's Alethea. Essentially, spelling. The spelling for that, Aleatheas. A lot of people call it Altheas, but it's Aletheas. Oh, I know Turkey's gonna be pretty aggressive. If Rich is still watching, you can ask him. I think he said. I think he said a turkey took out like a second floor window. Yeah, I've seen a couple, up close. My brother likes to hunt. I don't, but I've seen him out there when I was walking around in the woods with him. All right, we're having a little bit of a problem here. We need to. Oop, sorry. At least he got the hit still. I didn't mean to bump him. I would very much like the Centaurian to go first. Not to sound mean or anything. It's just if we all go, we'll be fine. It's now or never. There's an E25, my arch nemesis, and I just used my repair kit. Come on, guys, go! I sacrificed my body for you, or I should say my tank chassis. It's only gonna work if they all go, though. Unfortunately they all aimed at me being the first one, but I'll gladly do that if it gets us the win. Platoon of... Sure, Christian, we can do a platoon of Cromwells. That sounds good. And then Graham can hop in for the last little bit here. My family doesn't own half the town. I would say we own a small little slice of it. But it is a small enough town where, people, my dad's side of the family, my cousins, they have the restaurant called Menz's restaurant, so my last name. Everyone's like, "Are you related to the Menz's?" I'm like, "Yes," but I had to kind of explain like, you know, the other Menz's. But yeah, that sounds pretty good, Martin. I don't think I've ever cooked a duck like that though. I've mainly just done like duck breasts, like searing them and stuff. I can see why, John. It's like Ryan's family, they don't get it too much. Like Ryan's worked in restaurants, you know, waitressing and stuff growing up too. But when it comes, like they'll be, you know, visiting and stuff, and they're like, "Hey, let's go to Alethia's or something similar to what we have, menu wise." I'm like, no. Even she's like that. Like if you work in a restaurant long enough, your food can be the best, but you don't particularly want to eat it. So, duck's not very greasy. I guess it does depend how you do it though. But the way you're supposed to cook duck is scoring all the, you know, thick layers of fat, and you sear that hard so it renders down, and then by the time it's done, it just turns out like crispy skin. If you don't do that right though, then I guess yeah, it could be greasy that way. See, I don't have too much luck with Cromwells usually, but it'll be fun having a platoon of them. Come on, guys. Oh, Lord. Yeah, it's too late to cap now. They gotta... They could have had a chance at capping. Shit, this IS-6. Our IS-6 is a little bit late here to save Christian. Shit, maybe he's ammo rack. Their IS-6. I spoke too soon. I hope they get this, though. Alright, they should get this now. Duck is pretty hard to cook. You don't want to cook it... Like, a lot of people... I'm not going to bother with any personal reserves now. So, I'm going to play Cromwell here. We're going to do a Cromwell platoon. And then, Graham's going to hop in and platoon here. After that, I'll get back and do the WZ 120, Centurion 7, Black Prince, VK 4502B for requests here. But it is kind of weird. Cape May, I would say my grandfather in his day, he influenced it a lot. Like it's interesting hearing stories and stuff about him. Essentially, he was like when he went to say Atlantic City, because a lot of people know what Atlantic City is. Like they knew who he was, like stuff like that. You know, way back before, you know, like social media and stuff, like people knowing you business wise for that. It's pretty cool hearing about that. I still meet quite a few people, you know, they're in their like 70s, 80s, 90s and stuff that they kind of come up and talk about him. It's pretty cool. He's definitely a tough person to be around now. But any, you know, businessman, he can say that about them for the most part. Platoon of E-25s twice? Yeah, I agree with you there. Ah, nice, Graham. We're gonna need a little bit of ABCR here, I think. Francis being bottom tier, this is going to be a little bit iffy. I'm going to try to spot to begin with because our Chaffee isn't spotting. Or at least he's not ahead of me. Just there's no arty, so positioning is pretty important here for us. Found him. Found a lot of them. I'm going to try to jump over here as safe as I can. What little... I had an AMX snuck up there. What little armor I have... I was hoping would save me, but... Our 1 to 2 needs to push. They do not have much down there at all. Like, I would be surprised if they had more than just one other tank down there now. Come on, guys. Let's push. Let's do a little push here. Shit. Our objects, you know. I didn't expect him to push in by himself. Give him a little nudge there. I was trying to help him straighten out, but we kind of got caught up on one another. Alright, I'll bite the bullet here. Oh, Lord. That didn't work. I was not expecting the Strev back there to spot me. He's easily going to end up dying here, but I didn't expect, you know, him to spot me. I thought that the Scorpion was going to be the first to get me there. Yeah, oh well. That's pretty cool, Rich. Yeah, a lot of people know Cape May, you know, either for the resort part of it or mostly for Coast Guard base. Thank you, nice cuppa. I don't even know what menu's up there because we switch our menu quite a bit. I mainly handle... I'm hoping to switch our menu completely for lunch next year, but I mainly handle breakfast and lunch. But I do a lot of prep for dinner. I used to work dinners, but the night shift didn't exactly, you know, work for me. Did he know? I have no idea, Graham. The names that come to mind the most that I was around growing up when I was young, and I've heard, well, of course there's Donald Trump, but what's the guy's name? The boxer. Oh, I forget his name. I should know it, but it's just, I'm drawing a blank. It's not Muhammad Ali, but there's like 2 other famous boxers from that day. I honestly drawing a blank. He died in the past couple of years too. Hello, Abdul, nice to see you. The cheesecake is great. She's actually making one now. Granted, this is our last weekend coming up. It's a Bailey's chocolate cheesecake with Oreo crust, and the topping, she has like a, what was it? A rum chata whipped cream topping. What's good for breakfast? You know, we have a ton of different omelets, but I've specifically like, we have 2 different kind of stuffed French toasts. It's either it's mascarpone, pecans, orange zest, and Grand Marnier, and then there's a berry cobbler one where it's you know, a bunch of different berries, cream cheese, and then you have like a crumble topping. Nacho Lewis. I had to look it up. Joe Frazier. That's him. I had to Google it real quick. Famous boxers. Yeah, I'm actually related to him. Someone on my dad's side was married or was still married. Um, him, but he was a good family friend. He came to all my grandfather's, like birthday parties. It was pretty interesting. He shook my hand. I forget. It was probably like 10 years ago now, but he like freaking crushed my hand. And this guy was still, he was pretty old. And, oh. Alright, well, I didn't do nearly as well as Kristen there, but I got popped there. But, I'll invite Graham here. One of you guys could have stuck in if you wanted to. But thanks again for the platooning. It was a fun time. I'd say after this was the WZ request. Whoops, I forgot. Sorry, Graham. Let me switch back to East. Sorry about that, Graham. Yeah, I know Joe Fraser died. That's what I was saying. He died a year after my grandfather, and he was at his last birthday party we had at the second. So hopefully that doesn't mess up there. Sorry about that, Graham. I forgot I was on a US West. Sorry, Graham. But yeah, it was always a good time. Yeah, thanks, Christian. I'm glad we had a good time there. All right, so WZ120. But it was always interesting. It was like a different era of everything. Yeah, you're at the tail end here, Abdul. Yeah, I remember you telling me, Rich. Yeah, a lot of people like the lobster omelet. It's definitely not the most healthy thing in the world for you, but yeah, it definitely tastes pretty damn good in my opinion. Like the thing we sell the most of, like next year I plan on switching up a lot of things because we had a lot of, as you guys kind of heard throughout my streams, personnel issues with finding people. Hopefully next year that's going to be solved, so I'll be able to, like this year my menu, I just shift it easier. Next year, shifting it back to something, a little bit more complex stuff. So hopefully I'll be able to prep more rather than be 100% cooking almost all the time. But yeah, Atlantic City now compared to, even like say like 10 years ago, I don't even go there. It's kind of it's still it's still good. If you stay on like the boardwalk and the casinos, but it's a pretty scary place, especially living around here. You hear so many bad things. Um, yeah, it's kind of a shame what's happened up there. World War II trivia. That's pretty cool, Rich. That's an interesting story. You always have some pretty interesting stories to tell. Or tidbits. Let's see if I can pop him here. Oop. WZ. Got a little bit antsy there. And now he's... Yeah, I can't pen the ST1 here reliably without... Oh. That little wiggle he did made me hit the very bottom section of his armor there. And with that, that's extremely angled. That's why it bounced off with even a heat shell. That WZ, I don't know. I don't think he's playing like a different tank, but damn, dude, like, you don't have that much armor. And holy shit, I've missed quite a few shots here I should have hit. Alright, we got the low here. T-54 is back. Yag Panther moved off his little perch. That helps me out. Whoa, low. Oh, God, dude. I'm gonna let you get shot, because you're the one who just did that to us. Holy shit, dude. Let me... He just fucked us up here. Why did you do this, low? Just why? If he had just stayed on his one spot, we would have been able to, you know, tag team him. But no, he had to come right where I was. Well, shit, I just screwed up on that. Sorry, Graham. Trying to get the T-54 to aim at me here. He's starting to run away, which, you know, isn't a bad idea. Do we have this RU gonna shoot here? Whew, that was a little close. Made a few mistakes, but nothing too major. There we go. 3k damage, not too bad. Graham and I danced around a lot, but fortunately we got the wind down on our little thing here. I had to use my mute button there. I felt the sneeze coming. Hopefully that muted right. My hat almost started to tip off. Alright, so after WZ 120, I know there's a VK 4502B, but before that, Centaurian 7, Black Prince, and a German TD. Alright, so I'll play the Cent 7. Whoops. I got the Cent 7, VK 4502B. Shit, I screwed up again. Black Prince, and I think the Scorpions, my highest tier German TD. Yeah, thanks again for the matches, Jerry. It was fun. We did pretty damn well. Yeah, I think I remember seeing pictures, you know, of them surrendering as well. Going back to what Rich said. I like history, like reading and watching stuff about it. I don't always retain everything, but I find it pretty interesting. Huh, that's pretty interesting, Nice Cuppa. You got some pretty interesting stories between all of us here. Trust me, Jack, you'll... Uh, thinking back to when I was 16, which was only 10 years ago, there's stories that you'll look back, say, in 10 years, 20 years. Not that I know about 20 years yet, but there'll be things where you didn't think it was that interesting, but they turn out to be pretty interesting. Like, whenever I talk to any of my friends now, even just going back to when we were like 12, looking at some of the stupid little things we did, it's pretty hilarious and interesting now. Which, good. I did not leave my mic muted. I tend to do that a lot back when I had push to talk. Ugh. There's no arty, so we can push the one line as hard as we want. But, we'll see. What is he saying with all those tanks? We have, let's see, about 7 tanks here. Woo! It's a little under half. Like, Lord. That's not good. We need... Yep. I'm sorry that Grant... You had to do that, Grant. We can't push now because they have about 3 tanks there in the center. Luckily, I got hit by that tank on the right, and I'm like, shit. Yeah, I might not even make it out of this. It's what happens when everyone goes to one spot, and unfortunately for us, you know, we didn't have they have a light out there, we don't. Our light was trying to, you know, do more damage than actually spotting. Alright. I'm not in a great position because this hill, I'm not able to... They definitely did the right play by pushing the hill hard. We should have, you know, we basically were trying to do the same thing, but their lights actually, you know, lit us up and they could actually shoot us first, which... This hill's too steep for me to actually fight off of, unfortunately. You know, the people in the town that were complaining that, you know, we had way too many people, you know, they're fighting nothing over there. This is where you're better off. A few people push, the rest sit back in the center and take side shots. I'm just trying to stay alive right now. But this is what we get. Our team is still in the town, still not responding to, you know, us, you know, being, for lack of better words, like raped over here. Like, yeah. See, that's what annoys me when people complain, oh, you got so many people over there, why don't you push? When going into it, both like Graham and I know, and the other people over here, we're gonna face at least half their team, if not more, and it's frustrating at times because stuff like that makes some people play differently, whereas it's just okay, just keep pushing the town against one tank, see how that goes. But anyway. What Abdul said. So after this, I'll play the Black Prince, and then I have a Russian TD, the top tier Russian TD that I have, which is the Scorpion. That's it for requests. We'll see. I might have time for one more. I actually saw a pretty interesting question when I was just scrolling around bored on the internet. It's like, it was like a choice between pills, like, essentially, you could take one pill, have all your knowledge that you have now, and go back to when you're 16, or skip to when you're, it said like 45 or something, and have, I think, like $10 million or something, and has something else. Basically, you're rich. I don't know. It was pretty interesting thinking about it. It was more less cut and dry than how I put it, but yeah. Talking about what you guys are talking about, it kind of reminded me of that. Essentially, nice cuppa. Luckily, I haven't had too much of that tonight. That was the first match that irked me that much as far as my team placement early on. So it looks like we picked the short end of the stick. We have a lot of people over here, but there's quite a few tanks over here that if they move, there we go. If they move outside of this general setup they have, we'll be in trouble. That frickin' one little thing stopped my shell. It looked like, or I missed. Surprising how much those things can stop heat shells in HE, though. People forget about that. I always try not to break them down. Have I thought about adding lights? Actually, yes. I have thought about adding lights. We'll see if, that ends up being the case. Like I said today, I spent a lot of time cleaning today, but I do want to add on to the hat a bit. So that is a possibility. I would just need to... Well, I would like it to be portable, so I would need a battery. I have to find a way to do that. Most of my Christmas lights, funny enough, are... Like, we basically... We do minimalist for Christmas. We have a life-size Grinch that we put out front, pulling our lights down. A lot of my Christmas lights are actually under my house. I have... Because I still have to do insulation and clean up where the previous owners just left it kind of a mess, our crawl space. Essentially, I have like probably 20 strands of Christmas lights where I can turn them on as I need them, set up under the crawl space, so it's completely lit up down there. It's kind of funny. The guys doing our new heating system were like, holy shit, this is like a really freaking good idea, but it's like a winter wonderland under there. Alright, I need to really stay on top of things here. T30Y. I wanted to nail that 268. Yep, he's coming my way now. I need to get him down to... one-shottable levels. Hoo hoo hoo! Dead tank to the rescue. Ah shit, that was a bad shot. Not that I'm gonna win this anyway, but I'm trying to eke out, as much as I can here. Ah, dude. Come on, buddy. I'd rather angle against these guys. Oh, my ammo rack. Why? Yeah, this ain't gonna end well. T30 will probably be able to pop me, but... Yep, I'm pretty much screwed now. Maybe I was gonna get lucky off the cupola, but no. I did some damage here, but yeah. We definitely waltzed straight into their defense. Alright, so after this was the Black Prince. Yeah, no surprise, we lost Highway. Black Prince here, Uber's favorite tank. Alright. Funny, Sam. You never know. It could be a story later on. Who knows what live streaming is going to turn into, which. When I showed you naked turkeys in my basement. You should have saw me that day. I looked like I kept calling myself like a turkey serial killer because so many turkeys. But surprisingly enough, not that I can stream in 4K because I stick at 1080p for my resolution. YouTube went even we were talking about YouTube versus Twitch last stream. Today they enabled, I can do it if I ever, get a 4K display and my PC's strong enough and my internet's good enough. But essentially you can live stream now in 4K, and if you have the right camera, they're pretty expensive. You can live stream in 360 degrees. So I would be technically I could set a 4K 360 degree camera, say like above my head here, and you guys could watch all around. Of course, I wouldn't do that, nor would any streamer, but you'll probably see live streams coming out on YouTube soon. I think the first one that they're marketing is like the Video Game Awards coming up. I think tomorrow. That's going to be live stream 4K, and I'm sure they're going to have some 360 degree cameras somewhere for it. But pretty interesting they opened that up for live streams. It's been for regular videos for quite some time, but it'd be pretty cool to see what people do with that. Could be interesting for some applications. Why you got an angle? Okay, my HE did not work there. So I'd say it is weak enough to where I can annoy this guy with HE. It's just I have to keep hitting him right near the hull, more or less. If I had more HE, that I would have guessed I annoyed him enough to where he might have moved. I'm going to be better off flanking now. I could see that as well, Nice Cuppa. It's like I plan on, most smartphones, especially like Android ones, you can get little headsets to do like virtual reality on the fly for. I've seen it before. They're pretty cool to watch, those like the 360 videos that you see. I'm more interested. I like surfing. I don't surf nearly as much as I did before. I got done college and worked a lot, but I want to see some surfers 360 views. On like a giant wave, stuff like that. I will help you, dude. But how did I miss that? I'm sucking this match up here. Alright. Time to focus on some weak spots here. Yep, I'm angled kind of correctly. Luckily our team's doing extremely well here. So after this, I probably have time for 1 or 2 more matches, I would say. Well, as far as streams like that go, it definitely depends on your internet connection. It's like, it depends on where you're at and, the speeds, like... I've watched a couple streams, 1080p, and I can have 2 up at the same time, and my internet download speeds can handle that. My uploads you know, they're just good enough for doing what I do here. I don't think you know how fast the Black Prince reloads, dude, but thank you. I'll take the kill. Yeah, I don't need to waste a medkit there. Yeah, I'll play a T-49, Abdul. It's a T-49. If there's one more, I can fit that in as well. Yeah, I still got some chores to do, but I can go a little bit past 7 here. And then my next stream, of course, will be Friday coming up, 6 to 8 p.m. And then Sunday as well. I'm probably going to be like the happiest person in the world on Sunday. Because that's my last, you know, real service of the year in the restaurant. Because the weekend following, I have to do a couple breakfasts with Santas. Really, that's pretty easy. I gotta clean, shut down the whole kitchen, oversee, you know, we hire a company to professionally clean everything. That's cakewalk. I'll be so happy Sunday. Honestly, I usually like going north in faster tanks, but I'm thinking south wouldn't be all that bad. It's just they have 4 light tanks, and outside of that, no other super fast tanks. We have us two, the 2 bulldogs, and there's this A44 too, and a 416. But if we can win the south here, we can still squeak out and help out the north. Ooh, Lord, that kind of hurt. Nice play, dude. Made me waste these things, but luckily he did not have a heat round, or else that would have hurt a lot. Since we know they have a bunch of lights sitting there, I'm gonna try to just seeing if I can spot anything there, which, oh Lord, we both missed. That's not good. Oh Lord, this is really not good. We don't really have anybody in the... Sorry, Graham. It's just we don't have any help because our guys are hiding back there. For lack of better words, like, they need to push up. I was trying to spot the center, but obviously that did not work out there. Honestly, this is like, I saw someone say something about YouTube videos, like, you see these epic matches and they only work in that one single match. I would honestly say that maneuver they did, putting that many tanks through the center unseen, will only work in this one match, because we had almost no people in the center to spot them or shoot them. Oh, so that was a little frustrating. Sorry that match sucked, Abdul, but oh, I was trying to spot the center to prevent that, but they literally, for them to do that, they didn't drive in the water right near where I spot it. They drove almost through the center of the map on that hard ground to get up there that quick. And yeah. Jack, yeah, I do play World of Tanks outside of streaming. Not as much, you know, when I'm working, because I work a lot. This time of year, you know, after this week coming up, my schedule is pretty free, but I do play a little bit outside of streaming, mainly just to get a little bit of credits in. I tend to do when I'm not streaming, or I try to do that the best I can, um, and also some missions. But yeah, when I'm not streaming, I try my best to either get reviews of tanks done that I want to do, or grind credits, so I'm not just playing premium tanks on the stream. All right, it's a tier 10 match again. Awesome. um, I'm gonna try to get in the center. You know, it's a little bit iffy and something kind of, you know, decent mobility, but not too much armor in this. But I'm in a good spawn spot, pretty much the closest spawn spot. So I'm a little hesitant to go here, specifically because they have an FV 3805. He has a pretty good, you know, shell arc. So the cover I usually use here isn't 100% safe from him. They're not spotting much there. Thank you very much, Gary. Always appreciate it. Which, thank you everybody, you know, for the tips today. It's making all this talking with essentially no nose here, because I cannot breathe through my nose at all, a lot more bearable. I've been cramming in the vitamins and eating tons of pineapple and stuff, and hopefully it pays off by Friday. Ryan kind of looks at me funny. There's definitely a lot of people in the town. A lot in the town, and wait, I've seen a lot of times this team now, a lot of people camp back here, which I'm going to help with this PZ4, but I've seen that strategy change a lot, where a lot of people sit back here, which is kind of smart, but I see it fail more so than work. Ooh, I thought he was sitting closer to the corner, but unfortunately for him. Whoa. That was an awesome shot. And of course I missed him. Alright, so they have an E5 out in there. He's pretty much dead. The girl ran away. So yeah, the center is pretty much open. You know, there's the Borsig out there. Which, if I'm sure about my angles here, I can hit him. Not that I'm loaded. But not that he's alive either. Funny you say that. Ryan actually asked me, you know, initially when I started streaming and stuff more regularly, you know, why people, you know, watch. Because I've actually, talking to you guys, like you guys mentioned streamers and people making videos, I've actually started watching more people myself. I don't watch anybody specific though. I guess, you know, I randomly pop on and choose a random person. Today I was watching some random Russian, come on dude, some random Russian girl stream. It was very awkward, but I just pick someone at random now. But I'll agree with you, sometimes it's more fun to watch other people play than it is World of Tanks some days, when you get those days. But yeah, this person I was watching earlier, I'm pretty sure most people watched her just because she was pretty attractive. Like, she was probably early 20s, and she only had 18 tanks, most of them premiums, and she spent more of her time chatting with the guys tipping her than she did playing the game. But it was interesting watching nonetheless. Okay. I can take a shot from this guy. I'll just farm a little bit of damage here, which I still have time for, whoops, one more match. So I'll hop back in the T-49 since that last one kind of sucked. Thanks for watching, Jack. Nice talking with you. That's a decent match. Alright. Alright, T-49 again. We did win the T-49 match, surprisingly. Let me get on there. I'll say, like, I know it's kind of a running joke, but I do watch Quickie Babies. He does have good standard YouTube videos when he specifically breaks down something, whether it's a tank or a map or like a new mechanic or something. I do look at them from time to time. Do I like his live streams and stuff? No. But I will give him credit. He does do, you know, because it's his job to do it. You know, him and Jingles, you know, it's their full-time job to make World of Tanks videos. You know, he does a very good job with them. But yeah, as far as his live streams go, I don't like watching them. I've tried, but that's why I've kind of I pull up Twitch or YouTube Live. Usually I start with YouTube, but you'd be surprised. It's almost all Russian streamers on YouTube here. I guess randomly pick one. Yes, you guys can only watch me. No. But yeah, I'll give him credit that live streams, he doesn't work for me, but standard videos, I watch him, you know, when he does very good videos that detail stuff. Oh, trust me, I know very much how much he is making. Because I get asked all the time how much I make, you know, from random people that recognize my name. And they're always like, well, if so-and-so makes this, because, you know, he's publicly came out with how much he has made. But that's no surprise knowing him. Alright, I'm going to head over here now. I've done my little scouting duty. But yeah, if I made anywhere close to that, I would do this full time. So I've watched I actually watched one of Foch's or Foch's or however you pronounce it. He has a pretty good, cool accent. I actually watched one of his videos the other day, honestly. Which math-wise, I would say, like, Quickie Baby has said how much he's made before, but math-wise, you can't go off of like the things that YouTube posts about how much you make. If you're going off of like views and ad revenue for video games, specifically free-to-play ones like World of Tanks, the ad revenue is freaking terrible. I would say he makes almost, you know, a gigantic chunk of his money off of either people tipping him or, you know, essentially subscribing to his live stream. And also, I won't say I'm completely right to say this, but Wargaming probably pays him a little bit as well to review certain things, and he gets, you know, a lot of assistance from Wargaming, which there's nothing wrong with that either. It's just, yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with some premium rounds. I've seen some funny videos. Well, I haven't seen any with Quickie Baby, but people focus fire what people way too much sometimes. Specifically with some, you know, clans that like G and stuff that you see. You'd be surprised at how much people go out of their way. Yes, I did, Tunster. I survived. I'm over the turkey hatred now. But I love turkey, so. Well, not to say there's a reason behind it, but yeah, there is a lot of upbeat tone for some people. Uh, oh Lord, I shouldn't have shot there. That screwed up my master plan. I'm actually gonna get off the cap now. Let me load up a heat round too. Well, I think everyone was speaking bad about the T-34B. But, yeah, like I said, there's nothing wrong with wargaming, you know, assisting some people more than others. You know, it makes sense. Holy crap, this is a pretty crappy match, but this is going to be my last match, guys. I've missed some stupid shots here. And they're kind of my fault. I've made some bad calls here. But, you know, it's always nice chatting with you guys. Today's stream, some pretty interesting conversations. He might kill me here. You got popped by Artigram. That's why I ran away. But I hate the bat chat, you know, 55A or 58, not A. Yeah, thanks for stopping in, Tunster. It was a pleasure chatting with all you guys, though, again. Thank you again for the tips. Always appreciate it. I might have to expand upon my hat now. Maybe get, you know, like some flashing lights. Even though Levi hates lights, I'd have to get ones that aren't too bright. He completely freaks out at flashlights and stuff. But, I'll tell you one quick story before leaving. Essentially, Levi, you guys have probably seen like the little online video of like a dog or taking a firework that's shooting off like a bottle rocket and running and it's shooting. Whenever you get a flashlight out, he hates flashlights, lights, shadows. He was kind of teased when he was young, what I heard. He'll like try to grab the flashlight out of your hand, even like a metal one, and he starts running away with it, and it's like shining all over the place, and he's trying to attack it. It's freaking hilarious. I feel so bad though, you know, because he gets really anxious about it, but it's hilarious watching a dog try to steal flashlights from you. A monkey on my shoulder? Don't tempt me. I think we might have a monkey dog toy, but it might be a little dirty. But anyway, thanks again for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys next stream, Friday 6 to 8. Otherwise, my schedule, you know, this weekend through next weekend should be, you know, about the same. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. After that, it might switch up a little bit. Anyway, thanks again. I'll see you guys around.